Hi, boys and girls. I have our big book again. This is the same big book that I read to you last Friday. The story was Sophia and the Sunflower. Now, I don't have time to read that story again, but do you remember? It was a lot like Jack and the Beanstalk, wasn't it? But Sophia didn't plant bean seeds. She planted sunflower seeds. And they grew really, really tall. They grew so tall, they grew up to the sky. She climbed up to the top of it, and what was up there? A little house. And that's where she met a lady named Esperanza, right? And Esperanza's brother was the giant. The giant started chasing her, right? And she jumped back down the sunflower seed and the sunflower plant, and she went back down to her house, and the giant was following her, and he jumped on the cloud, and it made it rain. And that's what they were hoping for. They were wanting rain so that their garden would grow, right? Okay, so we kind of just went over that really, really quickly. Well, in the back of this book, there is another fairy tale. And this one is called Cinder-maid and the Oak Tree. Now, Cinder-maid, does that remind you of anything? Cinder. I tell you what, I'm going to ask you when I'm done reading if this fairy tale reminds you of another fairy tale that you might know. Okay, Cinder-maid and the Oak Tree. Once upon a time, Cinder-maid sat under an oak tree. She cried, "Tree, I need a dress for the ball." The ball is a big dance. It's a party she wants to go to, but she doesn't have a fancy dress. So she's talking to the tree and saying, "I need a dress for the ball." A bird on a branch sang, "Crack the acorn, Cinder-maid." An acorn? See all the acorns in her hand? A dress with golden leaves fell out. Wow, when she cracked the acorn, a beautiful dress came out. At the ball, Cinder-maid danced with the prince, but she ran away at midnight and lost her shoe. Does this remind you guys of another story now? Huh? I bet you know. Here she is in her beautiful dress, and she's dancing with the handsome prince, but at midnight she has to run away. Look at, she lost her shoe, didn't she? She ran away at midnight and lost her shoe. The prince showed the shoe to many girls, but it never fit. One day, a bird came and said, "Follow me, follow me." So the prince follows the bird, right? Oops. The bird led the prince to Cinder-maid's oak tree. The shoe fit Cinder-maid. They lived happily ever after. So look, the prince puts a shoe on Cinder-maid. Now, and here's her other shoe in her pocket, so he knows, oh, that was her. They live happily ever after. So, boys and girls, that is another fairy tale. And does it remind you of another fairy tale? You guys know the story of Cinderella, right? Instead of Cinderella, it's Cinder-maid, right? And instead of a fairy godmother, she talks to the oak tree, and it gives her a dress, and she meets the handsome prince. Now, it says, if we're going to retell the fairy tale, here's Sophia. She's digging the hole. She's planting the sunflower, right? Here's Esperanza. Esperanza comes down and brings her chicken with her so that they have eggs. Here's the giant jumping on the cloud. This was the cause and effect that we did the other day. Okay, now it says, compare fairy tales. In what ways are these stories alike? Now, I'm looking at both of them, okay? And they're both the main character in the story. So here is Cinder-maid, and here is Sophia. Okay, what do they have in common? They're both girls, aren't they? They're both girls. They both have brown hair, okay? All right. Now, they're different. She looks maybe like she might be a little bit older than Sophia, but that's one way they're alike. The other way that they're alike is, do they both have happy endings? Yeah, they both have happy endings. Most of the time, fairy tales do, don't they? Now, I do want to show you one more thing before we close this big, giant book. That here right now, in the back of the book, they're showing us some plants and some actions. Actions are people doing things, okay? I know it's hard to see this big book, but I want to show you the whole thing and not just one page at a time. I might have to, but look at, they're growing seeds, They're taking care of the vegetables. They're picking apples. Okay, they're digging holes to plant seeds. They're picking flowers. So what they're doing is they're working in their garden, and there's a lot of action going on, right? And those are called action words, okay? So water is, of course, something you can drink and you can wash with. But if you water something, you take a watering can, okay, I'm going to water the flowers. Then it becomes, you know, it's an action. What's she doing? She's watering the flowers. What's she doing? She's planting the tree. What's he doing? He's digging with a shovel. What's she doing? She's picking the flowers, okay? What are the plants doing? They're growing, okay? And what is the girl doing? She's picking the apples and she's putting them in the big barrel. I think we got them all. Those are all action words. Okay, I'm going to put this big book away and we're going to go to our Nat Geo. I am going to do, when you guys open that up, these are the pages we didn't get to last week. I know it's a lot, but they really won't take very long, okay? So this is just a, you're supposed to read it, okay? Then it says, label the characters Tim and Sam. All right, this is Tim. All right, so here, I'm going to show you these words right here. Blend words with I. Okay, last week I showed you guys 3 sight words that start with I. Okay, this one is. We've had that one. What if we put an N on it? In. What if we put a T on it? It. Okay, so is, in, and it. Okay, and so all you have to do is go, this is Tim. Okay, there's the word is and the word Tim. Both have a little I in it. Tim can sit. Okay, he's sitting on the horse. This is Sam. Here's Sam. Can Sam sit in it? Look, boys and girls, can Sam sit in that swing? No, it's kind of hard for you to see. I'll put it up really close. It's broken. He can't. So what I'm going to do is, it says to label the boys. This is Tim. So I think I'll just write Tim over here. Tim can sit. This is Tim. This is Sam. I'm going to put Sam over here. Can Sam sit in the chair? I'm going to write N-O, no. All right. Really, we just want the kids to try to practice reading those sentences with short I. Okay, this one here, verbs. Verbs are action words. That's what we were going over in that big giant picture, right? So here's a family. They're making a garden. Okay, so what are the action words? What is a boy doing? He's digging, right? So we're going to just circle that shovel there. We're going to circle the action word. What is a girl doing? She's putting seeds in the ground. She's planting, right? She's planting. That's the action word. What is the mom doing? What's she doing? She's picking things and putting them in her basket. She's picking. So I'm just going to kind of circle her hands where she's picking. And what's the daddy doing? He's digging a little hole and he's planting a little seedling in there so it'll grow nice and big. Oh, and then over here, nobody's really doing that. That's a hose or a sprinkler, but they're watering. And that's also an action. Those are the verbs. Okay, so we just have to circle the verbs in there. If you want to color that, you can. All right, here's some more sentences to read. Okay, read the sentences with our sight words and with some short I in there. The girl's name is Min. Okay, so see, in, sit, and look. She's sitting down to breakfast and she's looking at the cereal box. See, Min, sit, and look. Really, all you have to do is just read the sentence. Stop at the period. Number 2, Min can see this. Min can see this. She's at a store, a shoe store, and she's looking at a pair of shoes. We're just reading it. Min can see this. Min can see this and this. She's looking at the bananas now. Min can see this and this. This says app. Now I know why they put that sight word in there. I wasn't sure why they did that. App, hap. Hap and Pam and Tim see Min. She's coming to their house, okay? They're on the front porch. They're waving to her. And she's bringing home probably the shoes and the bananas that she got at the grocery store. Hap and Pam and Tim see Min. It just says discuss the pictures, have partners read the sentences together. Since we don't have partners at school, you can read them aloud to your parents. Okay, we're going to do this page now. This is the page that we're supposed to compare those two fairy tales. We're going to compare Sophia and Cinder-maid. Okay, how are they alike? How are they different? Okay, well, over here on the Sophia side, I'm going to draw a picture of Sophia. She's a little bit younger. I might have to go back and look at that book. Okay, she's a little bit younger, and she plants a sunflower. So I'm going to draw Sophia with the big giant sunflower. And you know what? I don't want you guys to have to sit and wait for me to do this. So I am going to get it started, and then I will finish it later. Okay, I'm going to finish it later. I kind of started it here. Here's Sophia, and here's Sophia, and she planted the sunflower, right? Okay, Cinder-maid, okay, she didn't plant the sunflower. She sat and talked to the big oak tree. So it's on the Cinder-maid side, I'm going to draw a big, giant oak tree, and she sat on a bench underneath the oak tree, and she asked the oak tree, I need a pretty dress for the ball, right? All right, so here she is sitting down. She's talking to the tree. I might have to fix that up later. Now, in the middle part, what do both of those stories have in common, huh? I said they're both girls, aren't they? Okay, they're both girls. I'm going to write that because I'm not sure how to draw that. They're both girls. Okay, and did they both have happy endings? Okay, she met the prince and lived happily ever after. She got back, got away from the giant, and and it rained, and all the plants started to grow, so they had lots of food. So her and her mommy lived happily ever after, and Cinder-maid lived happily ever after. So what I'm going to do, so I don't have to write that, I'm just going to put a big happy face. They lived happily ever after. That's what they both had in common. Okay, so I know we did 4 pages. I know that was a lot, you guys. You don't have to take a picture of all 4 pages. I could either see these two, or you could take a picture of these two, okay? And then I'll know that we finished up those pages. All right, good job.